Let's kick off the show with our traditional Saturday Social pre-season predictions. The whiteboard is back. No expense spared. There it is. We've got a list of topics. Well, I suppose, yeah, I know. Firstly, are you happy with your faces? You look both looking well.
Yeah, it was a good choice. I might have gone for another one.
It doesn't seem to have it.
It's not the worst.
But you know how it works. We've got a list of categories. We've asked you both to get off the fence and give us your thoughts. So we're going to start with champions. The magnets are on the board. Who do you think will be lifting the Premier League trophy? There's disagreement straight away, which is what we love. Nieve's gone Man City. Sharky, fresh from working for Arsenal on the Arsenal tour. As the Arsenal fan, you've gone Arsenal. Why?
I wonder. There was a funny clip on Twitter that someone posted about. Obviously, you said we have the STS podcast, so I do my predictions every season. And someone said, Sharky's predicted the wrong champions 4 years in a row. So hopefully I'm fifth time lucky.
You've always said Arsenal.
No, actually not. The last 2 seasons I had Arsenal. The two before that, I think I went for like Liverpool and Chelsea. Right. But yeah, I never predicted City to win the league, and I'm always wrong. But this time, I think last season you saw how good we were. We obviously got really close.
Came close, yeah.
I feel like we were almost perfect, you know. But obviously in this Man City era, almost perfect is not good enough. But I feel like this season, being around the squad, feeling the energy, it's come through me now, and now I'm the spokesman to say that this is our year. But I have a good feeling. Arteta, I think he's got it sorted now. Obviously, we haven't signed too many players just yet. I think we're signing that midfielder. It looks like it's going to be done. Forward player will be nice. Not necessarily striker. I think we need like a rotation for Saka. But outside of that, I think we scored a lot of goals last season. It was our most goals I think we've ever scored in the Premier League season. Second most goals. So we don't need a striker. Obviously, it'll be great.
Yeah, you're right. Set new club records for most Premier League wins and Premier League goals last season. But, Nieve, you've gone for Manchester City. You think we'll make it 5 in a row?
Yeah, and I don't really think that's particularly the reason why they can't, this idea of it being unprecedented, because 4 in a row was as well in the Premier League. I was trying. I was looking at Arsenal, looking at their options and trying to, shift that balance in Arsenal's favour. And I can't yet do it with the options, the squad that Manchester City have got.
Do you think City have improved from last year so far? Anything?
I think they've made a really good signing, but also there's work they could do, possibly bring in a backup to Rodri. But I think the way City play, it's not always imperative that they make all the signings. Sometimes signings can be made for signing's sake. But I think Arsenal, to overtake, it's more on them to make the signing. Like you say, an attacking signing, it's more on them. So that Saka can have a bit of a break. I think there were a lot of games.
That's my only thing. I think we need like rotation for Saka. But outside of that, I'm pretty happy with our attacking force.
OK.
All right.
So you've got 6 on the board and move on to the next.
Let's go to the top 4 then.
Burns me to put.
Let's have a look at the magnets here, because they are quite interesting. So just to explain it, you've obviously got City, Arsenal, Liverpool in 3rd, Man United in 4th. Nieve, you've got Liverpool in 3rd, Spurs in 4th.
Unfortunately,
Let's start with you, Nieve. Why have you got Man United in 4th? We'll talk about Liverpool in a second.
Yeah, I think they've pinpointed weaknesses straight away in the window. This feels like a totally different window for them. Obviously, there's been a lot of changes off the pitch as well. And even just the attention to detail that United have shown this window off the pitch. So United had some huge issues with injuries last season, so they did an internal audit into that, and they've brought in basically they've brought in sort of performance data to try and improve on that, which I think will be really interesting to see. I know you can do all these things, but we need to see that come into fruition. But it does feel different when you compare it to previous transfer windows and the way they got signings compared to now. They've got the players they want, they've got the price tag they want, and they'll walk away if it's too much. And they're pinpointing those specific zones where you saw the glaring issues last season. Those defensive signings, I think, are brilliant. And Mazraoui had a great game straight away.
He did, yeah, he was excellent.
The depth that they've got now in defence, that's imperative. They've sorted that out. I think Xerxes is a brilliant signing. Overall, I'm so taken in by that. My only concern is whether or not Ten Hag is the man for it. But this is his season now, no excuses, because he's got the players.
And you've gone Spurs in 4th?
Unfortunately, yeah. I mean, I had him a bit lower. I think the signing of Solanke was important. I think you needed that rotation for Son.
Yeah.
Since obviously Kane's left, there's been a big hole there.
Huge void to fill.
Exactly, huge void to fill. I'm not saying Solanke is a Kane-type player, but it's another player where you can rely on him to score goals. You can rely on him to get involved in it, and like I said, it allows Son to get rotated in and out. I think United, I was close to putting fourth, and obviously Aston Villa as well, who finished fourth last season. It's just with United, I don't know. Obviously, last year it could have been a blip. Obviously, it was a blip. It was your worst season ever. You finished with minus goal difference, all of that stuff. I had a great time.
For balance, they did win the FA Cup, to be fair.
Yeah, they finished off strong. That's the thing about United. But I just think Spurs, hopefully I'm wrong. But then again, I don't want United to finish fourth as well. But yeah, I just think, with the Solanke signing, with a couple...
Settled team as well, isn't it?
Good signings. They got a couple good youngsters, Bergvall. They got, obviously, Archie Gray.
Yeah, a lot of fans excited about
Adoba,
Bergvall.
I think they got. So it's like...
So that's fourth. I think we've got to talk about third because you've both got Liverpool. Now, a lot's been made of Liverpool. Obviously, new manager coming in. No signings so far. We're going to go on to talk about individual signings later on in the show. But you're both going with Liverpool third. Is that because you feel that they've got enough already, Nieve, to finish third, that they don't need to add signings, or do you think they do need to add some?
No, they do need to add a signing. I think you can't go out with someone like Zubimendi and publicly make it aware that you as a club also see what everyone else sees, that you need a player in that position, not get that player and then just have nobody. However, we know that that's what Liverpool are like. They've got their players in mind who they want and they will wait for them. And I think they struggle with having those backup options.
OK,
let's get them on the board.
I think the next one, I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Any point debating the next one?
I think this is going to be, I can see what you've got. Let's just show the camera what you've got. Erling Haaland, I think it's a bit of a tap-in. Should we get him straight on the board?
Let's just get Erling Haaland straight out.
Get him on the
Struggling
board.
to see anybody competing with Erling Haaland.
I haven't seen
I hope
anyone.
not. I hope I'm wrong.
Let's go to player of the season, though, because there's much more interesting debate around this, isn't there?
Oh.
So you've gone Kevin De Bruyne. Odegaard.
Wow.
Martin Odegaard.
Very similar role, but you've got Arsenal to win, so it makes total sense.
Of course, usually a player for the winning team mostly wins the player of the season. I think Odegaard is just, everyone knows his talent, no one doubts his talent. He's being compared to De Bruyne sometimes. He's getting better and better, obviously, with that leadership role. He's getting stronger physically as well, which adds to obviously the physicality of the Premier League. And I just think he's an unbelievable player, and I'm predicting a big season for him. If we're gonna do this, if we're gonna win the league, he needs to be, putting up some serious numbers, but also carrying the team. There's a lot of performances last season where I was like, we got that result because of him. Porto, I'd say, in the second leg of the Champions League round with them, he was the man. And there was a few other games as well when he had a lot of times before, early on, where people would say away games, big away games, he would struggle. Last season, that wasn't the case, especially the big games. I mean, we didn't lose a single game against the top six, home and away, and I think he was crucial for most, if not all of them. So
18 goal involvements as well last season.
Yeah,
so if you can improve on that.
Niamh, you've gone Kevin De Bruyne. Best player still in the league for you, if he stays injury-free, of course.
Yeah, those sort of the level of output he has with every minute that he's on the pitch is just incredible. And also the signing of Savio, an extra runner in behind for Manchester City, which I think they've actually lacked in the last couple of years, will help him a lot. Bernardo Silva maybe being able to come into midfield to help him in midfield for De Bruyne, give him a bit more freedom. I think it's sort of built for him this season.
Unbelievable player. Fastest player in Premier League history to reach 100 Premier League assists.
OK, next category.
Breakout star. Now, this is an interesting one because I think there's a bit of disagreement here. So can we reveal to camera who you've gone with? And you had to change yours to explain your situation.
Yeah, I changed. So obviously, I have a big prediction for him having a good season this year. But my initial breakout star was Oscar Bob.
Yeah, which is a great shout.
Yeah, I think he's an unbelievable player. He obviously community show. People saw what he could do.
Oh, so good.
He stole the show. And I'm still predicting a big season for him. Hopefully he gets well very soon and he gets back playing. But obviously he's not starting the season fit. So I got Harvey Elliott. I think another great player. Obviously Liverpool didn't make any signings, we just spoke about, so he'll get a lot more minutes. He can play in midfield. He can play out wide. Pre-season as well against Arsenal and Philadelphia. Liverpool beat us. He got both assists, and they were both unbelievable assists.
Do you think a lot has been made about the fact that it's a different style of coach? You expect Liverpool to play a different style of football under Slot compared to Klopp. Do you think he's a player that will suit the Slot system and will get a lot of game time?
The thing is, I mean, obviously, I'm yet to see the full Slot system. I'm not too familiar with it. I know, obviously, at Feyenoord, they did a good job. I watched a little bit of their games last season. Obviously, they've got Timber's twin brother out there, so I was keeping an eye on him, maybe trying to reunite the family. But I just think with key thing is I think he was always just on the edge of that team, Liverpool, and because they made no signings, I think there's a lot more minutes there for him now, and I think Slot fancies him a lot. I think he likes him a lot. I think seeing how we played him in pre-season, I think he's going to get a lot of minutes. He's a great footballer. I think
probably their best performer on pre-season tour.
100%,
I would say,
100%.
I totally agree with that. I expect a lot of the younger Liverpool players to really thrive. Because if you look at the culture that Slot created at Feyenoord, one of the first things he did is he wanted to make that transition from the academy seamless to the senior squad. He wants everyone in on the tactics. And they're very tight in the midfield as well, Slot, I've noticed so far in pre-season.
He's good
I think
in
he'll
tight
benefit
spaces.
from that,
Yeah,
a lot.
good
Really good shout.
Your shout, a bit more unique though.
Yeah, so I've gone with Trevor and Sanusi, and it was just a press conference that I watched from Eddie Howe, and he'd mentioned that he's got a little bit of flair about him. He's got stuff that other players haven't got, and they opted not to send him out on loan. So I thought, I'll have a little look at this player. So I had a look at him in the pre-season game, and I thought he looked so good. This sounds strange, but he looks like he's just got massive feet compared to everyone else. But it's because I think his ability to sort of manipulate his body and shift the ball from the right side of his boot, left hand side of his boot, inside, outside, and just glide past players so smoothly, the way he takes on players. And he can play both sides, so he can play right and left wing. So
left-sided forward, but he can play either side, can't he? Yeah.
So many
that's
clubs
the
wanted him as
position
well,
that
didn't they, when he left Birmingham? So many clubs would
so
try
many
to
clubs really wanted him when he was at Birmingham, including Liverpool, actually, really wanted him. But Newcastle are putting a lot of emphasis into their youth at the moment, so...
OK, stick him on.
Yeah,
Still only 17 years of age. Never made a senior appearance, interestingly, so it'll be fascinating to see his season.
Yep, absolutely. OK, next, Overachievers. Who have we got here? Nieve, you've got on West Ham, who've had one of the most remarkable transfer windows of any club I can remember in recent years.
And it sounds like they're still going as well. It sounds like potentially they're not finished.
The problem is, because they've had all these signings and because they finished 9th, it's almost like, what's an overachievement? This is a team that's been in Europe multiple times in the last few years. But it's not really that I'm thinking of. Think of the way that West Ham finished last season. The squad was so small, it was decimated. I mean, defensively, they really struggled towards the end. I struggle to see, in my head I'm thinking, how are they going to do this? How are they going to transition out of this? But the signings they've made, it's precision, it's pinpoint, and it's that I feel the ceiling they've created for themselves is so high just on this one window from what felt so low, and I really don't think that 9th, where they finished, paints a full picture of how much they struggled towards the end.
It's a really good point, actually, because they actually conceded 74 Premier League goals last season, which is their most goals conceded in a season and the most ever by a team finishing in the top half of a Premier League season. So, but they have addressed defensively brilliantly. They brought in, a lot of defenders, a lot of defensive covers, the likes of Wan-Bissaka, Todibo, Max Kilman. You've gone with Palace, so why have you gone with Palace? Well, bear in mind that obviously He's been linked with moves, Eze's been linked, Elise's gone, but they did have an amazing end.
They did, and I'm a big fan of Ole Glasner. I think he's a very great coach, and they've never finished in the top 10. So if they finish in the top 10, that's an overachievement. So and I think they could.
Okay.
Obviously, they've lost Elise, their star boy, but they still got Eze there. Things can change if they lose the likes of Eze and Guehi, and Anderson's even been linked away.
Yeah.
Things could change, and my prediction could look stupid, but at the moment they have them. So I'm only going to speak for what they have at the moment, and I think they've replaced Elise pretty well. I mean, they got Kamara there as an attacker who might play through the middle as well. He's also played with under Glasner. Yeah. Ismail Assar they've got as well, who can play there as well. Mateta's flying, Mateta's a changed man, Olympic silver medalist. I think they could finish in the top 10, and for me, because they've never done that, I think that's a massive overachievement.
Let's get them up then. Let's get them up and get to
Next
underachievers.
category, we've got underachievers. This is teams as well, so... Let's have a look at underachievers. You gone with Chelsea.
Yeah, but then is it an underachievement anymore? I don't know.
Why,
What's your prediction?
Are you thinking?
Where do you think they finished then?
10th, maybe?
10th?
That's an underachievement.
Wow.
But they finished 12th.
They finished 12th.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
So, obviously, they could finish 10th, they could finish 5th, they could finish 4th. Who knows? I mean, I overheard you just filming something before. You said, who knows with Chelsea? They can have any...
I know what you mean by that. Like, it's unknown quantities,
who
isn't
knows?
it?
Yeah. And so it's like, you never know. And their squad is so big. They look like they're in disarray. All the headlines are about them. There's always something going on. The whole Gallagher situation and this and that. And, I mean, they're signing players, but they're signing too many players. Sometimes you don't know what's going on. Obviously, managers coming in and out. An unproven manager, obviously, in this stage. Yeah, he's got a good education and he's done well for Leicester, but you just don't know. And I feel like with all of that headache, it might take them a bit of a while to kick on. You know, and by that point, it might be similar to last season where they had a strong end.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I said, you never know, but
Big swing factor, Chelsea.
yeah,
Could go
it's
either
a
way,
huge
couldn't
swing
it?
factor. So, I mean, I guess it's a safe bet for me.
What about Wolves?
Yeah, I've gone for Wolves, and it's purely on that start of the season. I'm just concerned for Wolves.
Tough first game as well.
Tough. I think the last 10 to 15 games of last season, well, yeah, Arsenal, and they've also got Chelsea in those first 2 games. But if you look at their fixtures all the way up until sort of the first week of November, it's relentless. And they've still not replaced Max Kilman, who played every
players,
game.
haven't they?
And the thing is, though, they've not replaced Pedro Neto either, but I think these are 2 replaceable players as well. And this is £100 million worth. But either Gary O'Neill came out and said that it's asset-driven recruitment.
Yeah.
And that's really apparent this season. We've seen it a lot with Wolves, but that's really apparent this season. Obviously, they've signed Rodrigo Gomez, who looks like a talent, Pedro Lima as well. But they're not replacements for these 2 players. And so I'm just concerned that Gary O'Neill's work's going to be cut out for him. But yeah, I worry sort of mentally.
They're trying to shift to a back 4 potentially as well this season, aren't they?
Yeah.
I do like the signing of Strand Larson up front, though. I think he could offer
And Gary O'Neill's done a good job there. It's worth
very, very
under
different
circumstances
profile of
as well. I think he's
striker.
a good manager.
OK, hot takes.
Final category.
We can do yours very quickly,
I
Sharky. It's the same
said
thing,
mine,
isn't it?
Yeah, I said mine during the thing. I mean, if I'm putting in 10th, then my hot take is Chelsea
Stick it up then.
outside the top 8. Or...
And the Spurs badge. So, Nieve, what's your hot take here then?
Well, when I saw Sharky put them in top 4, I was a bit like, yes, because I've seen so many, you're not the only one, so many have put them 3rd, even 4th, off the back of this window.
Yeah.
But I think for the long term, as a project, I do think it's a good window.
Yeah.
However, for this season, I'm not convinced by it at all. All the weaknesses that I saw Spurs have last season, I don't think this window's fixed many of them. The defence, I think they need way more in that defence in terms of, I think they need to bring in a new defensive midfielder who can protect that defence. They need another centre-back. They need someone on the left as well. I think you need a lot of options if you're going to play such high intensity. If you watch Tottenham, the way they run on the transition back and forth, it's non-stop, it's relentless, and they need more players to make that work. And I was looking at Vicario as well, pre-season. I think Vicario's brilliant, but he didn't look comfortable on the ball. And even when they play with their best defenders, I just think they've got too much to do. Those 2 centre-backs have got way too much to do when they get the ball, obviously because the full-backs are so high up the pitch. But none of the signings in this window, to me, suggests that Andrew's looked at that and he's going to fix that. It suggests he's going to go all out with it. These young, attack-minded players, and that just really concerns me.
OK, stick it on.
Sort out the set pieces as well.
So,
sort out the defensive
I'll sort out, there is confirmation of the predictions. Good lot of difference there, I like that. That's nice. So there are the predictions, Saturday Social pre-season predictions. Let's see how many of them come to fruition.